Hey, everybody, off the Mike Sports Network here. Some Raw reactions here. I'm going to do some videos reacting to Monday Night Raw, the go-home show before Night of Champions. Yes, Night of Champions, by all indications, will be taking place as scheduled from Riyadh. Um, Listen, what more do you want me to say? I may do a separate video about like really my in-depth thoughts about it. I've already kind of tackled into like the dynamics of it, and some of you got mad at me, said I was fear mongering. It's a really serious situation, so let's just leave it at that. We'll get to that a little bit later on, possibly here on the channel. So the big story coming out of Raw is we now know who is going to be what is going to be the finals of the King of the Ring tournament in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. It's going to be Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. That was expected after Randy Orton won. Even with Jey Uso on the other side, I felt that Cody Rhodes was going to win this tournament from the beginning. It just made a lot of sense given the natural progression to go through this tournament and ultimately get to SummerSlam and get back to John Cena. That was really the direction that this was always going to lead to. So, the big thing about this, okay, first of all, it was the right decision. All due respect to Jey Uso fans, Rikishi, and believe me, we'll get there in a second. This was the right decision. First of all, I don't even know why Jey Uso was in this tournament. Do not know why he was in this tournament. It was a great match. Probably one of the best matches of Jey Uso's run on the main roster. He's had some decent ones, but this one, felt like a big deal. And, they did a thing in a match that's really hard to do when you know the winner, and there were still some really compelling near falls in it. It was a good story. The crowd was really into it because they love Jey. They love Cody. And it's a good example of, okay, when you put two baby faces in the ring, just let them cook, and they'll produce a good match. And these two, and Cody's great at what he does. Jey is very entertaining, kind of limited in terms of like more than like super kicks and whatnot. But Jey can wrestle. He can wrestle. He's not a true singles wrestler, and that's what I want to get to here. I think what we saw, in addition to Cody Rhodes, seemingly on his quest to get back to the Undisputed Championship, I think we saw the end of the main event Jey Uso era in WWE. And a lot of people are not going to like that. Rikishi, I guarantee you, is going to yell and scream on his podcast whenever that comes out, and is going to get mad till he's blue in the face and just yelling and screaming and just saying people should get fired, saying writers should get fired, even though the writers don't make the booking decisions. Rikishi, you were in the wrestling business. Your family's been a part of this business for multiple decades. Come on. Your son was literally fighting with Roman Reigns. Your two sons are part of the most decorated tag team. And listen, I know a lot of people like to shit on Jey Uso. I'm not the type. Listen, what I'm saying here is this is a great story, a great Cinderella ride of a long-standing great talent who reached heights that maybe nobody would ever see. In a lot of ways, I think Jey Uso is a lot like Jeff Hardy, because Jeff Hardy, if you guys remember, he was the younger brother. Although I think Jimmy might be the older twin, technically, I guess. But, basically, like Jeff was always like the more popular one because of his cool moveset, because of the way he interacted with the crowd and all this other stuff. And Matt Hardy was kind of just there and was a good hand. Jey kind of rose to new heights and really identified with the fans. And he went on a run in the last year or so that has been unlike anything that we've ever seen from a talent who is really just a tag team wrestler. Like even Jeff Hardy didn't have the type of run. Jeff Hardy's had a great career, but think about what Jey Uso has done since about, let's go basically in the last calendar year. So from June, we're taping this on June 23rd, from June 23rd, 2024 to June 23rd of 2025. Jey Uso in the last 12 months has done the following, and I've said this on multiple videos. He has won a singles championship, the Intercontinental Championship. He won the Royal Rumble. Guys, there's only been a handful of Royal Rumbles in the history of WWE. Somewhere in it's almost at 40, I think. I don't have the official number of it. But There have been multiple two-time winners, one three-time winner. The the select few that have won men's Royal Rumbles in the history of WWE is very small. And Jey Uso is one of those people. He last eliminated John Cena to win that spot at WrestleMania. And then he wins the world championship. This was a tag team guy. Nobody thought anything about Jey Uso being a singles guy. So for him to go on this run really started in the bubble in the the Thunderdome 5 years ago with Roman Reigns, and he was elevated. And I don't think Roman gets nearly enough credit for how much he contributed to Jay's rise to stardom as well, because he put over Jey. He took a pinfall for Jey Uso. So um it really is remarkable how the fan base, like the division within this fan base when it comes to Jey Uso is really bizarre. But where I land on this, and especially considering, like I said, I think this is the end of an era, really. Because what else is there for Jey Uso to do as a singles wrestler? I just gave you guys his accomplishments that he literally did in the last 12 months. Last 12 months. Intercontinental champion, Royal Rumble winner, World Heavyweight champion, winning a match at WrestleMania to do that feat. That's a good career for a lot of people. Like I said, Jeff Hardy had a really good career. He was a multi-time WWE champion, Intercontinental champion, tag team champion. He never won the Royal Rumble. Jey Uso did. Hall of Famers have won the Royal Rumble. Jey Uso's one of those people who has won the Royal Rumble. He's over as hell. His moveset, and he kind of is very limited in the ring. But I give him credit, man. He hung in there with Cody tonight, and that was a very memorable and really solid television main event. But I think we're at the point right now where main event Jey Uso, as we know it, is not going to exist anymore. He doesn't need to be in the main event anymore. I'll tell you where he needs to be. He needs to be back with his brother. The Usos need to get back together. The Raw Tag Team division is not very good. It's the New Day, and the New Day are seemingly teasing something. So I know people within Jey Uso's fan. And then, listen, if you're one of these schmucks who's just shitting on Jey Uso for, getting over and not being a great wrestler, listen, Jey Uso is an example of why we love professional wrestling. Guys organically getting over with the audience and the fans being rewarded for their support. Yes, I think part of what happened here is Jey Uso, in some ways, became a meme. He became a meme. That's really what happened. Is Jey Uso became a catchphrase, and WWE and TKO saw an opportunity to make some money off of it with some merch and stuff. And a lot of Jey Uso, what we grew to love him with, was before Yeet, when he was actually cutting promos and could cook on the microphone. But then he just became Yeet, Yeet, Yeet. And look, I get it. And, some of this was also Jay's part of one of the greatest tag teams of all time. But I knew coming into the night that this result was more than likely going to happen, that Cody was going to beat Jey Uso and advance to the King of the Ring final. But at this point, all I gotta say, man, is thanks, Jay, for a great ride. But I think the future direction of this is he's not going to be a singles wrestler moving forward. He doesn't need to be, because there's no, like I said, when you've had the run that he's had in the last 12 months, there's just nothing left for him to accomplish in the singles division, and he's not that great of a singles wrestler. There's a reason why a lot of people started to turn the tide on him in terms of, hey, it was becoming a little bit too much. The Yeet was becoming a little bit too much. The guy was getting kind of exposed in the ring in terms of his wrestling ability. I like him. I respect him for getting over. But if you're mad with the run that, Jey Uso had over the last 12 months, mainly I'm looking at you, Rikishi. You need to get the fuck over yourself, man. He had a phenomenal run, but he outstayed really his welcome really in the main event scene. He's been great for what they've needed. He's an over-organic superstar that they really haven't seen, really became a pop culture phenomenon, and he maxed out. This is it for me in terms of the main event Jey Uso scene. And like I said, if you want to be one of these dipshits who wants to just dunk on Jey Uso, you pretty much just hate what professional wrestling is all about. This was a great underdog story, but it's time for it to end. So I don't hate Jey Uso. I'm not one of those people. I actually like Jey Uso and respect him. But this had gotten to a point where, like, listen, this is what you were gonna get. And when you look at everything in full context and what I said with what he's done, like, how could you not be happy about that? That stuff would never happen in a previous era. A tag team, like, yeah, Kofi Kingston got a longer title run than Jey Uso. Whoop-de-doo. Does anybody remember what the fuck Kofi Kingston did with that title run? It is what it is, man. So, anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.